Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are having an amazing week and also an amazing Sunday, wherever you are. This week we're reading about the Tower of Babylon. We're just going to have a quick recap on it, and then we'll be reading Genesis 12 and Genesis 13. Genesis 11, it was when the whole earth had the same exact language and vocabulary as the people migrated from the east. They found a valley in the land of Shinar and settled there. And then they said, "Come, let's build a city and a tower with this top on the sky." So they wanted to build something as high as the heavens, right? "Let's make a name for ourselves, otherwise we will be scattered throughout the earth." Then the Lord came down to look over the city and the tower that the humans were building. The Lord said, "If they have begun to do this as one people, all having the same language, then nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them. Come, let's go down there and confuse their language, so that they will not understand one another's speech." So from there, the Lord scattered them throughout the earth, and they stopped building the city. Therefore, it is called Babylon, for there the Lord confused the language of the whole earth. And from there the Lord scattered them throughout the earth. When I was reading this, I was really confused on why would God do that? Why would he confuse the language of the people? Why did he cuz for me, I thought that if you were to look down and see that the humans are coming together and building something, I thought that's sweet, that's awesome. But then I researched it, and the reason why God did that was because it could be seen as God seeing it as a sign of humanity's arrogance and rebellion, because they were saying that they wanted to build a city in a tower with its top to the sky. Let's make a name for ourselves. I feel like if God allowed them to, regardless, we still ended up being prideful as a humankind. But when they were doing it, at the end of it, maybe they would have gained arrogance and pride, and nothing would have been impossible for them. So they would have kind of ditched God and think that, oh, I could do everything that I want. Like, if I want to build a building as high as I want, I could do it. If I want to do this, I could do it. I feel like that's probably why there's a verse that says, "I could do all things through God who strengthens me." But yeah, it could be a sign of humanity's arrogance and rebellion. Why make it easy for us to go against him again? Because if you remember, we have Adam and Eve, we have Cain and Abel, we have... Was that the last one? Oh yeah, we have the whole earth being filled with evil in their heart, that God had to flood the earth and restart all over. And then now we have this group of people. That's when the population was already back to normal. So now we have this group of builders that wants to build a tower and a city as tall as the heavens. Yeah, God was like, hold on, let me pause you there. And to me, I said that God has a human because it was funny. But, okay. And then Genesis 11, verse 10 all the way down to 32 is the lineage again from Shem to Abram. It was saying how long some people lived, who they fathered. And then a couple things that I highlighted is that somebody named Terah lived 70 years and fathered Abram, Nahor, and Haran. And Haran fathered Lot, and Lot will be important later on in the verses because Lot is Abram's cousin. Or no, Lot is Abram's nephew, I think. And then I also highlighted that Abram's wife was named Sarai, and Nahor's wife was named Maacah. She was the daughter of Haran. And then I wrote a side note. I don't know if it's true because I read Genesis a while ago. I wrote on the side that Nahor married his niece after his brother / her dad died. I was so appalled. I was like, why? But anyway, Genesis 12, the call of Abram. The Lord said to Abram, go from your land, your relatives, and your father's house. Relatives. And I felt like I said that wrong, but in your father's house, to the land that I will show you. I will make you into a great nation. I will bless you, and I will make your name great. You will be blessing, and you will be, I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you. I will curse anyone who treats you with contempt, and all the peoples on earth will be blessed through you. So Abraham went as the Lord had told him, and Lot went with him. Abram, because his name is not changed yet, but Abram was 75 years old when he left Haran. He took his wife Sarah and his nephew Lot. Okay, Lot is his nephew, not his cousin. My apologies. He took his wife Sarai, his nephew Lot, all the possession they had accumulated, and the people they had acquired in Haran, and they set out for the land of Canaan. When they came to the land of Canaan, Abram passed through the land to the site of Shechem at the oak of Moreh. At that time the Canaanites were in the land. The Lord appeared to Abram and said, to your offspring I will give this land. So he built an altar there to the Lord who had appeared to him. From there he had moved onto the hill country east of Bethel and pitched his tent, with Bethel on the west and Ai on the east. He built an altar to the Lord there, and he called on the name of the Lord. Then Abram journeyed by stages to the Negev. There was a famine in the land, so Abram went down to Egypt to stay there for a while, because the famine in the land was severe. When he was about to enter Egypt, he said to his wife Sarai, look, I know what a beautiful woman you are. When the Egyptians see you, they will say, this is his wife. They will kill me, but let you live. Please say that you're my sister, so it will go well for me because of you, and my life will be spared on your account. When Abram entered Egypt, the Egyptians saw that the woman was very beautiful. Pharaoh's officials saw her and praised her to Pharaoh. So the woman was taken to Pharaoh's household. He treated Abraham well because of her, and Abraham acquired flocks, herds, male and female donkey, male and female slaves, and camels. But the Lord struck Pharaoh and his household with severe plagues because of Abraham's wife Sarai. So Pharaoh sent for Abram and said, what have you done to me? Why didn't you tell me that she was your wife? Why did you say she's my sister, so that I took her as my wife? Now here is your wife, take her and go. Then Pharaoh gave his men orders about him, and they sent him away with his wife and all that he had. If you're a bit confused, hopefully you're not. Hopefully you're hopefully you get what I'm trying to say. But so when Abraham went down to Egypt, he was scared that they were gonna kill him because his wife is beautiful. So he lied and said that, oh, this girl, she's my sister. And indeed, they did think that his wife was beautiful, so they took Sarai, and after that happened, God sent plagues to Pharaoh's household because God didn't like that. Because she's a married woman, So Pharaoh noticed this and was like, hey, why did you lie to me? Okay, I think you get it. I think you get it. But Genesis 13, Abraham went up from Egypt to Negev, he, his wife, and all that he had, and Lot with him. Abram was very rich in livestock, silver and gold. He went by stages from the Negev to Bethel, to the place between Bethel and Ai, it actually says Ai. That's why I said I earlier, but it says Ai. Where his tent had formerly been, to the site where he had built the altar, and Abram I keep saying Abraham. And Abram called on the name of the Lord. I love how Abram keeps calling on the Lord. I need to do that more often. But now, Lot, who was traveling with Abram, also had flocks, herds, and tents. But the land was unable to support them as long as they stayed together. For they had so many possessions that they could not stay together. And there was quarreling between the herdsmen of Abram's livestock and the herdsmen of Lot's livestock. At that time, the Canaanites and the Perizzites were living in the land. Pause, because I forgot to read my little notey note that the Bible left me. So let's read that before continuing. Faith in the promise maker. We make promises all the time. We make big promises like, I promise to love and honor and obey as long as we both shall live. And smaller promises like, I promise not to eat your leftover tortellini in the fridge. We make false promises, I have read the terms and conditions, and we make casual promises, I'll be right back. Promises are tools we use to navigate life together. However, we aren't always reliable in keeping those promises. This is true for all of us in our own way. We're flesh and blood human, and the promises we willingly make are made of weakness. But when God makes a promise, He keeps it. In fact, God keeps both sides of His promises. When God promised to bless all the nations of the earth through Abraham, the patriarch was so convinced God would make good on His word that he left behind his home, his family, and his nation to follow the Lord. What convinced Abram? In a world of promise breakers, what made him so certain? Scripture tells us it was his faith. By faith he had went out, although he did not know where he was going. Wow, that's beautiful. Imagine just knowing God is telling you to get up and move and go somewhere and you don't even know where you're going, but you still went. That's beautiful. He went out, although he did not know where he was going, clinging only to the promise God had given him. Abram certainly faced times of questioning times when he doubted God would fulfill his promise, or at least suspected God might need a little help. But Abram's lack of faith couldn't and didn't thwart God's purposes. No matter how much or how little we believe God's promises, they are still true. When we project our own human wickedness and unbelief onto God's promises to us, we miss out on experiencing His peace, the peace that allows us to follow Him into unknown territory. Abram didn't see the deliverance of his children, the inheritance of the promised land, or the Messiah coming to redeem the sins of the world. He died a man of faith, only seeing these promises from a distance, trusting God would fulfill each one of the fullest extent. Jesus Christ is both the promise-making and promise-keeping God of Abraham. Before He went to the cross, Jesus declared that He is the God who promised to bless every nation through Abraham, and He Himself is also the fulfillment of that promise. Jesus redeems sinners from sin and death and provides a way back to the Father. Every one of God's promises is made perfect in Christ. He is the fulfillment of the law, He is the true promised land, and He is the realization of our every need, hope, and desire. His promises are true. Okay, now back to what we were reading. Okay. So, we're back to where Lot and Abram couldn't really stay in the same space because they had too much possessions. So, Abram said to Lot, "Please let's not have quarreling between you and me, or between your herdsmen and my herdsmen. Since we are relatives, since we're relatives, I feel like that word just, like, I know what I'm, okay. Anyway, is it the whole land before you, separate from me? If you go to the left, I will go to the right. If you go to the right, I will go to the left. Lot looked out and saw the entire plain of the Jordan as far as Zoar was well watered everywhere like the Lord's garden in the land of Egypt. This was before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. So Lot chose the entire plain of the Jordan for himself. Then Lot journeyed eastward, and they separated each other. Abraham lived in the land of Canaan, but Lot lived in the cities on plain and set up his tent near Sodom. Now the men of Sodom were evil, sinning immensely against the Lord. After Lot had separated from him, the Lord said to Abram, "Look from the place where you are. Look north, look south, east, and west. For I will give you and your offspring forever all the land that you see. I will make your offsprings like dust of the earth, so that anyone could count the dust of the earth, then your offspring will be counted." So that's like impossible to count how many dust there is on the earth. So that means that his offsprings will be that numerous. "Get up and walk around the land through its length and width, for I will give it to you." So Abram moved his tent and went to live near the oaks of Mamre at Hebron, where he built an altar to the Lord. Alright, that was the last verse that I'll be reading today. But my notes for this was, the Lord was hyping Abraham a lot. The Lord was hyping Abram a lot. The reason why I said that, because he kept saying, like, oh, I'll give you, like, your offsprings will be so numerous. He kept reminding Abraham so many times that, hey, I'm about to do something great in you, right? God loves giving instructions or glimpse of the future to his children, it seems like. When Abram gave his nephew Lot the option to pick where he wants to live so that they could be separated since they had a lot of things, I noticed that Lot looked everywhere and he picked the best. Yeah, he picked the best field for himself, right? I wrote, Abram, prioritizing peace, selflessness, offers Lot first choice of land. Humble act of faith in God's provision. Because it's like, I don't know. I feel like most of us would, let me not say most of us. I feel like some people would, like, they wouldn't even give their nephew or whoever they're with a chance to pick the best land. They would automatically be like, okay, well, I don't want my herdsmen to be fighting with your herdsmen. We both got a lot of things, so let's separate. I'll take this side, you take that side, you know? But no, Abraham said, you pick, and I'll go the opposite way. But I said, yeah, Abraham, prioritizing peace, selflessly offers Lot first choice of land. Humble act of faithful in God's provision. Lot is driven by desire. Human ambition versus faithful surrender. Trust God's timing over immediate advantage. True abundance flows from obedience. Yes, that was it. But homework is Genesis 14 and 15. They're not that long, but it's about Abram rescuing Lot. Because remember, where Lot picked, the city or the land he picked, they were very sinful. So, and God, wait, let me not, okay, that's going to be for next video because I don't want to foreshadow, but yeah. Thank you so much for listening to me. I'm sorry if I kind of seem a bit gloomy. It's very late. I was busy today, but still got to get this done, you know? But yeah, I had fun. I hope you also had fun, and I hope that you also learned something. Even though I don't know if I was reading kind of quick, but I hope I wasn't. But I care for you, but God cares for you way more. See you next time. Bye-bye.